U.S. stocks are in the red on Tuesday after some nasty rhetoric between Iran and the U.S. Joining me is Jonathan Corpina to weigh on the topic. Nice to have you back in 2020. Tell me, what do you think the latest developments of this story is really making the markets react right now?
Right. So, clearly if we go back to our last interview in 2019, we were talking about what the hot topics are going to be for 2020 and what the catalyst might be for 2020. Clearly this one wasn't on our list, and it's definitely in the forefront now of directing our markets. We saw the activity on Friday. Over the weekend, a lot of news and headlines. Monday's activity continued with that. Yes, we opened on the lows yesterday, but rallied back and seems to kind of be holding its own at this point right now. So I think investors are even more confused as they were last week, last month, last quarter, as to what this market really wants to do. The headlines, out of the Middle East have gotten quiet for the last 24-hour cycle, so nothing too advancing there either way. So I think investors are trying to wait to see what's going to happen and as this unfolds, and yet we still continue to talk about phase one, phase two, what's happening there, oil prices, Brexit, interest rates, elections in 2020. So all these things are still there, but clearly this has become a major focus at this point.
Yes, we do have a new highlight on the docket. I mean, we wake up in 2020 and World War III is trending, which was really surprising. That is taking the headlines now. You mentioned oil. We see oil come in a little bit today. Do you think that is signaling that the implications won't be as severe as the stock market is suggesting?
Yeah, we watch the VIX to see, what the fear in our market is, and that correlations with that. And I think if you watch oil now, that might be the new VIX for the market as far as what's going on in the Middle East, right? I mean, clearly as tensions rise, oil is going to rise. And if tensions start to de-escalate, we'll see oil come down. So keep an eye on oil. We see it coming down a little bit today. Definitely has a little bit more room to go on the downside for us to feel a little bit more comfortable, but clearly that's something that could be an indicator.
So for you volatility traders, instead of trading the VIX or along with the VIX, you can also take a look at oil now. Meanwhile, you mentioned China. We are seeing a victory dance in China by none other than Elon Musk revealing the Model Y. Really ecstatic that this will be the best performing model in China. Now, as the discussion of climate change becomes more widespread, do you think that EV will be a booming market in 2020?
It's something that clearly could be in the forefront of what investors are looking to shift money into. Climate control and climate conversations are clearly something that has been a very heavy conversation. There are both sides of the fence here as far as, are the impacts are really impacting us now, or when do those really kick in, and how do we get to some sort of point of where we're able to monitor that and work around that, and then throw on top of what's happening now in Australia and the fires there and the impact that's having there, and on top of our climate, right, with all the tremendous amount of smoke that's heading into our environment and our atmosphere at this point right now. So that's something that's concerning and clearly going to be watched.